The National News Desk, locally covered, nationally connected.
If I think our country's in danger, and it is in danger in these cities, I can do it.
The battle for the streets of America. Democratic governors respond to threats of the National Guard coming to their cities. What Americans think about who is right when it comes to law and order. Plus, reading the language of the road. At least 3 different states don't require English proficiency tests for commercial driver's license. The penalties they may face to get up to code. And then, breastfeeding benefits. What a new study says about the positive impacts for mom. This is the National News Desk, America's News Now. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dee Dee Gatton. We're glad you're here with us. And we begin with breaking news out of Minneapolis. At least 1 person has been killed. 6 others have been injured, 3 of whom are in critical condition in a mass shooting in the northwest part of the city this afternoon. Authorities say the shooter fled the scene after unloading 30 rounds with a high-powered rifle. They believe the shooting wasn't random. At least 1 person was targeted in the attack. This is a developing story. Stay with us as we continue to track the latest updates throughout the night. We'll have coverage for you both on air and online at thenationaldesk.com. President Trump says he will seek the death penalty for murders committed in Washington, D.C. The announcement made during a cabinet meeting today is part of a wider effort to assert control over law enforcement in our nation's capital, an effort that appears more and more likely to expand to other cities. Here's national correspondent Christine Frizzell.
I think crime will be the big subject of the midterms. The Republicans are the party that wants to stop crime. We're against crime. The Democrats like crime.
President Donald Trump returning to a long-held complaint about, quote, liberal cities and high crime, signing an executive order Monday establishing specialized units in the National Guard to deal with what he calls a crime emergency in D.C. It's a sign of an expanding role for the U.S. military in domestic law enforcement.
Mr. President, do not come to Chicago.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker responding to threats that Chicago is next.
This is not about fighting crime. This is about Donald Trump searching for any justification to deploy the military in a blue city, in a blue state, to try and intimidate his political rivals.
Some Democrats insisting the law and order narrative that's often been a winning one for tough-on-crime Republicans should not be a priority for them.
Don't take the bait in talking about migrant crime or carjackings or the things that actually don't matter to that many Americans. And then go to the policy proposals that we think work.
Those policy proposals, though, don't appear to be sinking in yet with voters. A Harvard-Harris poll taken last week found 54% say Trump's actions in Washington, D.C. are justified and necessary, even though crime statistics show drops in violent crime in all of the cities Trump has targeted, including D.C., Baltimore, New York, and Chicago.
We've done well in the city of Chicago. That's because our economy is doing well. We're paying working class people more, investing in our schools, investing in prevention programs. That's what we need. We do not need a militarization of our streets.
Here on Capitol Hill, Republicans on the House Oversight Committee have crime reporting numbers in their sights, just launching an investigation into what they're calling manipulated and inaccurate crime data by the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. I'm Christine Frizzell for the National News Desk.
The Trump administration is ordering 46 states and territories to drop any references to gender ideology from their sex ed programs. Today, the Administration for Children and Families sent letters to state health departments warning they could lose federal funding if they don't make changes within 60 days. It comes after California lost funding last week over this issue. Indiana Republican lawmakers at the White House today to meet with administration officials, possibly to discuss congressional map redistricting. Vice President J.D. Vance met with Indiana Governor Mike Braun earlier this month to push for new maps that could potentially add to the Republicans' in-state advantage before the 2026 general election. Both Texas and California have voted to redo their maps. If both are enacted, their changes expect to cancel each other out. Meantime, Utah may be the next state to redraw its maps as a state judge declared the current district map unlawful. The judge says the map was created with a reduced role of an independent commission approved by voters to cut down on partisan gerrymandering. New maps made with a commission need to be finalized by late September. Democrats could pick up one seat in the process. Republican lawmakers, though, are expected to appeal. The Trump administration's lawsuit against Maryland's 15 federal judges has been tossed out. Today, a judge ruled the Justice Department didn't have the right to file the lawsuit. The DOJ had argued the president's authority to enforce immigration laws was hindered by a Maryland judge's order stopping the immediate removal of migrants challenging their deportations. A White House spokeswoman said this ruling won't be the final say. The Transportation Department is threatening to withhold funding for 3 states for not enforcing English language requirements for over-the-road truckers. California, Washington, and New Mexico, they could lose millions of dollars. Truckers, they are supposed to be disqualified if they can't show English proficiency. The Transportation Secretary cited a deadly crash in Florida involving a foreign truck driver who illegally made a U-turn.
Where we had an individual who we tested this individual after the crash, but no doubt could not speak the English language and could not understand road signs when he was operating that very deadly rig.
The standards took effect in June. California has done 34,000 inspections since then and found at least one violation. One person is injured after a fiery crash on Interstate 81 in southern Pennsylvania this morning. Franklin County emergency dispatchers say a tractor trailer hit another tractor trailer, rolled over and burst into flames, leaving large debris on the highway. One of the drivers had to be airlifted. Their current condition is unknown. No other injuries were reported. Cracker Barrel's market value sank by nearly $100 million after a brand refresh ignited an internet firestorm. The president even weighing in on the controversy. The National News Desk, Kelly Gaskins, joins us from Washington with more.
When Cracker Barrel unveiled its new logo last week as part of a brand refresh, people were especially upset over the removal of the iconic old man leaning against the barrel.
So long, my friends. It's been a real pleasure knowing y'all.
Don't me off. Put that cracker and that barrel back in that logo. And I'm so serious.
The internet lit up with accusations the brand had gone woke.
Don't nobody want no woke pancakes.
Woke people don't go to Cracker Barrel. A lot of times Cracker Barrel in the country.
Even President Trump urging Cracker Barrel to go back to its old logo and admit a mistake. Cracker Barrel's stock value tumbled by nearly $100 million amid the backlash.
That's one place you could leave it just like it is.
The company released a statement admitting they could have done a better job. The CEO defended the changes last week.
We're adding in booths, making the chairs more comfortable.
What if all the customers are coming at you hard enough about the look of the restaurant and they want to go back to the old way? Would you do it?
Honestly, the feedback's been overwhelmingly positive that people like what we're doing.
Well, folks, it's looking like Cracker Barrel is going to have to fire the whole front office because the wokeness runs deep.
Cracker Barrel now joins Bud Light and Target as companies with viral marketing missteps. Bud Light took a hit to its bottom line and its image for a partnership with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney.
I got some Bud Lights for us.
And Target took hits for a line of Pride Month merchandise marketed to kids.
Didi, even with this misstep, experts agree Cracker Barrel is long due for a shakeup. The company's growth had stalled in recent years, and something had to be done for the restaurant to remain relevant and competitive. And new leadership, too, I believe, as you highlighted there. Has Cracker Barrel been able to bounce back at all after that sharp drop in its stock? It has to a degree, and it's a little complicated. So shares did climb back up some on Monday, and company executives are hoping that momentum holds. President Trump's comments on Truth Social also gave the stock a little extra boost when he called the controversy $1 billion worth of free publicity. That sent shares higher again today. But analysts warn the gains we've seen are driven largely by heavy short interest. Only about 23% of available shares, meaning the stock is still very volatile, speculative, and not necessarily a safe bet right now. Dee. All right, live from Washington, D.C., Kayla Gaskins, thank you so much. Well, it is official. We've got some good news for you. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. The mega pop star and Kansas City Chiefs tight end posted on Instagram with the caption, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married." It is a fairy tale ending to the 2-year romance that's thrilled both Swifties and football fans alike. Their relationship catapulted into the spotlight as Kelce attended Swift's concerts around the world, and Swift cheered Kelce on at Chiefs games. President Donald Trump weighing in on the news.
Well, I wish him a lot of luck. No, I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy, and I think that she's a terrific person. So I wish them a lot of luck.
Let the wedding planning begin. Should be interesting to watch. Coming up next year, President Trump says he is going to fire a top official at the Federal Reserve, but she's fighting back. Who has the legal leg up in the fight over the Fed? Then, over 1.4 million popular cars are now under investigation for multiple reports of engine failures. The models included in the review. Then, the new scam targeting parents that uses information stolen in a nationwide data breach of school software. We're back in 90 seconds.
She's in charge of, if you think about it, mortgages, and we need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was.
President Trump there saying he will fire Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, but it's not clear that he has the legal authority to do so. And Cook is now taking legal action to try to keep her job. National correspondent Atra El-Nashar reports from Washington.
If President Trump gets his way, he'll be the very first president to fire a Federal Reserve Board governor. Lisa Cook, a Biden appointee whose term isn't up until 2038. Trump accuses Cook of mortgage fraud, claiming 2 primary residences in 2021. A criminal referral has been sent to the Department of Justice, but Cook is not currently facing any charges.
She seems to have had an infraction, and she can't have an infraction.
Cook's attorney announcing she's filing a lawsuit to challenge Trump's firing. Cook says, President Trump purported to fire me for cause when no cause exists under the law, and he has no authority to do so. I will not resign. I will continue to carry out my duties to help the American economy, as I have been doing since 2022. It's becoming a pattern for the Trump administration to make allegations of mortgage fraud against the president's political opponents. The DOJ also investigating allegations of mortgage fraud against California Senator Adam Schiff, who led Trump's first impeachment trial, and New York Attorney General Letitia James, who prosecuted a civil fraud case against Trump. Schiff and James deny wrongdoing. When it comes to the Fed, Trump has been very public about his frustration over unchanged interest rates. Until now, his ire has been directed entirely at Fed Chair Jerome Powell.
He's either evil or stupid, and either is really not acceptable. He got it all wrong. He's too late. We call him Jerome Too Late Powell. It will live with him forever. You call him too late for a reason. He should have cut him a year ago. He's too late.
Decisions on interest rates are voted on by the 12-member Federal Open Market Committee, 5 presidents of Federal Reserve banks from across the country, and 7 Fed governors. If Trump is ultimately successful in firing Cook, it will clear the way for the majority of Fed governors to be Trump appointees. Though it's taken longer than Trump wanted, Fed Chair Jerome Powell, an advocate for Fed independence, signaled in a recent speech that rate cuts could come very soon. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar for the National News Desk, America's News Now.
The House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed Jeffrey Epstein's estate. It comes as the panel reviews the first batch of Epstein files it subpoenaed from the Justice Department this month. The lawmakers are asking for documents related to dealings of the convicted sex offender, including a birthday book his associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, allegedly gave to him. They're requesting the records by early September. The Israeli military says deadly strikes on a hospital in southern Gaza targeted what is believed was a Hamas surveillance camera, and terrorists using it to watch Israel's forces. According to Gaza's health ministry, 20 people were killed in the strikes, including 5 journalists. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calls the deaths a tragic mishap. The statement comes as part of an inquiry into the attack. The government is opening a new investigation into reports of engine failures affecting over 1.4 million Hondas and Acuras, according to CBS News. The models included in the probe are listed right there to the left of your screen. The engine failures were initially examined under a previous NHTSA recall in November 2023, but the investigation was closed. A popular Hostess snack is being recalled nationwide because of possible mold contamination. The FDA says the company is recalling chocolate ding dongs in single serve, 10 count, and family pack sizes with Best Buy dates ranging from August 30th to September 3rd. If you bought them, you should bring them back for a refund or replacement. Here is a live look over downtown Phoenix. Blue skies this afternoon after last night's monsoon storm, which included a dramatic haboob that darkened the sky. You can see here the wall of dust coming in over the city, causing widespread power outages for tens of thousands of customers, as well as a temporary ground stop at the Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. All services are up and running right now at the airport, and almost all power has been restored. The name haboob comes from an Arabic word first used to describe large dust storms in Sudan. Haboobs can reduce visibility to 0, leading to dangerous traffic. Their strong winds can also knock out power and damage homes and trees. People exposed to the airborne dust may experience severe respiratory issues. Dust particles can carry bacteria and viruses, which is where infections like valley fever come from. A lawsuit against food companies that claims their food are addictive to children is now dismissed. Kraft and Coca-Cola were some of the companies accused of designing harmful, ultra-processed food. The teen suing said he was diagnosed with diabetes and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease after consuming their products. But the judge found the teen did not connect specific food to the illnesses. The teen's lawyer says they'll look at next steps. A new study on breastfeeding released today shows a link to good health long after a baby is grown. Medical reporter Liz Bonas shares the discovery and why the benefits go beyond your kids.
Hey there, everybody. There may be yet another reason for moms to consider breastfeeding. This one for both baby and mom.
It appears breastfeeding reduces mom's risk for a heart attack, even decades later. Those passionate about breastfeeding, such as Dr. Elizabeth Arleo, the author of the soon-to-be-released book, Bye Bye Mama's Milk,
which is about a compassionate transition for mother and baby when they come to the end of breastfeeding,
say this just adds to the list of why she chose to breastfeed all of her children. The research, she says, has always been strong on how it helps baby,
including a stronger immune system, decreased childhood infections, and many others.
This new study, led by a research team at the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center and College of Medicine, found especially those diagnosed with diabetes in pregnancy may lower the risk of certain heart concerns. Dr. Kartik Venkatesh, the senior author of this study, told me that means
that breastfeeding has a powerful impact on decreasing your risk of having a heart attack, stroke. And this impact is, decades after, you were postpartum and pregnant.
By studying the predicted risk for heart problems in more than 4,500 women at both 10 and 30 years after delivery, researchers discovered the lifetime risk of cardio complications is lower in those who breastfeed compared to those who do not. As for potentially why, Dr. Venkatesh says it may be the breastfeeding mechanism itself that is so powerful.
With regard to inflammation, oxidative stress, your lipids or fat cells in your body, they're all being positively impacted through breastfeeding.
Even if you can't breastfeed long term, even a short amount of time may have a lot of these health benefits. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
Coming up, why a South Carolina mom who went viral for managing a Burger King single-handedly is now fired, and what she's planning to do in response. We'll be right back. This is the National News Desk, America's News Now. We have reporters all across the country in your neighborhoods covering issues that matter to you. We are taking the pulse of America, and we start with scammers targeting parents after a school data breach in Utah.
The challenge that you have is any time you lose data in some sort of breach, someone's going to find a way to exploit that, right? And if they can't make money directly off of that data, then they're going to use it to make money indirectly.
Technology director with the school district, Jeremy Cox, says they've received reports of suspicious phone calls by scammers pretending to offer ACT test prep in exchange for money.
Scams like that, where you're using social engineering techniques, establishing trust with a target, data can be the key to making that happen.
The information taken included student and parent contact details and personal data. This did not include social security numbers.
At this point, it's really out of our control because the information is out there and people will use it and abuse it in the ways that they want.
Washington County says they initially locked PowerSchool out of their systems until they could prove the breach was closed.
Screwworm is like something out of a horror movie. It's a flesh-eating maggot. I mean, I couldn't get any worse than that.
The last screwworm outbreak in the United States was in the 1970s. Back then, the Texas Department of Agriculture used sterile flies to eradicate the pest. Now, even though that fly hasn't migrated across the southern border yet, Sid Miller says it's already too close for comfort.
We need 600 million a week of the sterile flies, and we only have 100, so it's going to take 3, probably 4 years to ramp up production facilities to get to that number. We can't wait 4 years. I mean, we have to stop this now while we've got it bottled up in a small geographical area.
But Evergreen fired me because I've been late because of my kids, bro. My kids come first. And now when y'all gonna watch my kids? Y'all don't pay for no babysitter, no nothing.
Nakia Hamilton, crying tears of frustration, posting this video on TikTok earlier this month after being fired from Burger King on Broad River Road in Columbia. Hamilton went viral on social media in June for running the restaurant solo. She says the company wrongfully fired her after she was on approved time off and was scheduled to work the day she was coming back.
So I told them, you know, I'm not gonna make it in time. I don't see how y'all schedule me at 12 knowing I'm leaving Charlotte at 11, and it take an hour and 30 minutes to get to work.
She says the franchise owner, Matt O'Doherty, went to look at her time logs for the past 2 weeks and told her she was late too often. Hamilton says O'Doherty lacked consideration and gave her a final write-up. Hamilton says Burger King and O'Doherty used absence issues as a way to get rid of her. Burger King says no one should work alone and they're disappointed their policy wasn't followed. Hamilton says she's planning to sue the company.
Coming up, how a SpaceX test flight happening tonight will help NASA prepare for its next moon mission. We're back in 90 seconds. After 2 delays, SpaceX will attempt to launch their 10th test flight of their Super Heavy Starship rocket. The launch window opens in just about an hour. The launch was called off last night after an oxygen leak was detected in a ground system. A successful launch opens the window to test autonomous transfer of propellant from one Starship to another. This step is required for NASA's planned 2027 Artemis moon mission. Also, we have an update for you. Look at your screens. The TSA has crowned its top dog. Steeler, who specializes in explosives detection at Pittsburgh International Airport, was voted cutest canine. Steeler will be the cover model for the TSA's 2026 canine calendar set to come out in December. The TSA says when he's not helping keep air travelers safe, Steeler likes to play fetch, chew on a tug of rope, and he likes to eat jumbo hot dogs. This was a tough competition. Makes you just want to hug him. So cute. That's going to do it for us for this edition of the National News Desk. I'm Dee Dee Gatton here in Washington. See you at 10.